On Saturday, May 20th, Mars will enter the passionate, expressive, and regal Leo. And until July 10th, we will seek the spotlight. We will put on a show and pursue projects that feel the most authentic. It's not going to be easy at first, as pretty much immediately as Mars enters Leo, it will oppose Pluto and square Jupiter. So tensions, drama, and power struggles are to be expected as we figure out this new dynamic. Let's take a closer look and break it down for all 12 signs. My name is Anastasia. I'm a traditional Western astrologer specializing in natal relationship and predictive readings. I create content for you guys. I'm active on Instagram. Check out all of my links down below. And if you're new to my channel, please subscribe, leave me a like or a comment. It really helps. It puts my content in front of more people and encourages me to put out more videos for you, like this one and many others. I'm sort of thinking about all the different more general videos that I can be making besides the horoscopes that I've been focused on before. Before we dive in, if you'd like to work with me, you can book a reading at anastasiadoesastrology.com. There's also a link down there. And when you visit my website, you can check out the shop tab to see all of the beautiful creations that I have brought to life since less than a year ago, when I started creating planetary magic items, candles, and oils that are designed to help people struggling with different natal placements, as well as encouraging a better opportunity to deal with the transits that we're going through. So like I said, about the first week of Mars in Leo will be very tense, and I would highly recommend getting this Fire of Aries candle that is decorated with the golden and the silver leaf, and it was created with Leo on the ascendant. It has the moon, the sun, and Jupiter all in Aries, so there's kind of very strong, brave energy, which I think could be beneficial in the tense, fixed energy that we're about to face. So let's talk about Mars in Leo, and let's talk about everything that is approaching, moving towards us. First of all, Mars is the planet of action. It's the planet of desire, aggression, conflict. It's very separate. It stands apart, right? Like Mars is connected to literally like sharp blades and objects that sever and cut and separate us from things. But it's also used well. It's also the planet that gets us going, the planet that sets us on fire and sets things in motion. Placed in any sign other than its own, so Mars rules Aries and Scorpio, and over there Mars is at home, can do whatever he wants, like the king in its castle. When you place it in any other sign, Mars has to behave in accordance to the rules of the planet that rules that sign. Basically, you have Mars in Virgo. Mars becomes very mercurial, right? Virgo is ruled by Mercury, so we kind of have this interesting dynamic. In Leo, Mars is in the home of the sun. So it's like the fighter in the house of the king, right? Like the sun is grand. The sun is regal. Like the sun, out of all the planets, like every other planet circles the sun, right? We're all kind of the Earth and Mars and Venus, etc. Like all of them are kind of drawn to the sun, right? Because the sun is like the biggest, has the biggest like pull towards it. So every other planet has to circumvent. So yeah, like the sun is visible, the sun is big, the sun is in charge. It's the king, right? The sun classically, archetypally is connected to authority, kings, rulers, people in charge. And it's very kind of important in a lot of ways. So when you put Mars in the house of the sun, it's gonna use solar kind of attributes, right? It's like imagine this warrior fighter living in the house of the king and kind of getting access to the items of the king. Of course, a lot would depend on what sign is the sun in, and like, you know, with this Mars in Leo, we're going to get the sun in Gemini and the sun in Cancer, two quite different energies. But you can think of it this way, right? Like you can think of Mars being royal, being regal. Mars stays in Leo until July 10th. And until July 10th, we can expect to feel like we are driven to express ourselves. We want visibility, right? Like I said, it's interesting because the sun will be in Gemini pretty much from the beginning of martial entrance into Leo. So Mars enters Leo on May 20th. Sun goes into Gemini on May 21st. So between May 21st and June 21st, we have Mars in Leo driven by the sun in Gemini. And sun in Gemini wants to interact, gather, and spread information. So some of your actions might be, if you desire spotlight, you might desire spotlight for your knowledge, right? You might desire spotlight for your technological, scientific kind of curiosity. So it might be a lot more intellectually based, right? Like you want to be known for what you have in your brain box. And then from June 21st until July 10th, when Mars leaves Leo, Mars will be ruled by the sun in Cancer. So here you become a lot more driven to seek the spotlight based on your family or your nurturing qualities or your cooking potentially, right? Or your ability to nurture plants. There's a word for that I cannot. Garden, for your ability to garden, right? So we seek visibility, we pursue things that are important. We're likely to go after our goals in visible ways, right? Like kind of, if you are applying for a job, you'll go on social media and you'll tell the world that I am applying for this job. What can you tell me? So there's an element of wanting to be more visible. We can expect to be more confident, more proud of our achievements and more proud of our desires, kind of owning them naturally. There's a lot of charisma to Leo, Mars and Leo as well. We are competitive, right? We are passionate. Even romantically, you're likely to see the desire to be recognized for your gifts and your skills romantically, right? So romantically, sexually, in friendships, whatever it is, there's definitely that desire to be in the spotlight or compete for the spotlight. So that's where you want to be more careful, right? Because the issues that Mars will be facing in Leo are solar issues. So being overly competitive, being kind of thinking that you and only you are the best, not letting other people have spotlight. So Mars tends to fight, so it might fight for spotlight, might fight for recognition, fight with authority, right? Or it might fight for those things. So that is different because in this case, you're maybe fighting for recognition, but you're doing so by trying to prove yourself. Some of the famous people with this placement, Beyonce. Beyonce has Mars in Leo and her sun is in Virgo, so you kind of blend those two together, where she's an amazing performer. She's really great at putting on a show, and she shows up in this like feminine queen energy, and she's able to be very strong and visible and powerful. But she also has that Virgo energy of like perfectionism and being a hard worker, right? And like being kind of very organized. Donald Trump has Mars and Leo in his first house. And, he's known for being outspoken, direct, aggressive, loud in a lot of ways, right? And even the fact that he became a president and he's like taking a lot of those kind of central spotlight type roles is the sign of having Mars and Leo. And another really big one is Michael Jordan. So very famous for being a basketball player, very successful, very competitive, very kingly, right? There is a lot more, like James Dean and the director Quentin Tarantino has it. So there's definitely like kind of powerful energies when you have Mars and Leo. So I'm going to break it down for all 12 signs, but it's important to know that we have a lot of planets right now in early degrees of fixed signs. We have Pluto in 0 degrees Aquarius, moving backwards, about to leave Aquarius on July 11th, June 11th, June, not July. So Pluto is in Aquarius, Jupiter has just went into Taurus and is like very early in Taurus at this point, and now Mars goes into Leo. So if you have a lot of fixed placements like Aquarius, Leo, Taurus, or Scorpio, especially early in the sign, between 0 to 3 degrees of those placements, you may feel the entrance of Mars into Leo the most. You may feel like a strong pull for that self-expression, strong desire to be recognized. And it's not going to be easy because the opposition to Pluto and the square to Jupiter happens instantly, and it's going to last for about a week. So between May 20th until May 27th, we are likely... So what happens, right? You have the opposition of the king in Leo, the rebel and the energy of change and transformation in Aquarius, and the stable, let's just rest, take it easy, Taurus. And when the three of them come together, one of them is like, but I want fame. Another one is like, but fame is not important. We need to innovate. And another one is like, but let's just all chill. You don't know which way to go, right? It gets really confusing, gets really complicated. So what can you expect, right? You can expect within that first week, very passionate, strong energy. You may feel extra competitive, extra driven. It could be this feeling of the time is now. I have to get it done. I have to achieve things. You may run into resistance. Of course, it's a tense bunch of aspects, right? It's a T-square. So running into resistance, whether it's internal fears kind of spiking up or it's powerful authority figures, a sense of having to face some kind of adversity. It's a very explosive, especially the opposition to Pluto. It's likely bring up all of your shadowy anger issues that you haven't addressed. So there's a danger of conflicts kind of bursting up and turning into physical violence. So be very mindful of that. And I think Jupiter being involved is like all of that tension, drama on steroids, even more dramatic, even more confident and cocky. Jupiter can make you sure of your goals and can make you feel like you have the knowledge and you deserve it, and maybe you do, but do you win it by being manipulative and pushing other people, or do you win by being morally sound and grounded? I believe it's the latter. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Side note, but I'm filming this on May 12th, and Mercury is aspecting Venus-Saturn trine today, so I think it's helping with good verbal energy. If you'd like to always have good verbal energy, consider getting my Mercury in Virgo candle or oil, because that has a very strong analytical, precise, perfectionist Mercury in rulership and in exaltation. So stay moral, maintain morals, stay grounded. Watch out for people you're getting involved in. Do not sign off your soul or your money to somebody. That's I think very kind of literally manifestation of like dark Pluto, dark underlord coming in and saying, I can give you power, but you need to sell something, or you need to kill someone, or there might be, I watched Hit Monkey the other day, and it's very dramatic, so I think some of my references might be connected to that. But yeah, be careful who you're dating, be careful who you're getting involved with. Do not rush. I would highly recommend you take it easy and sit tight, and maybe just take some time to brainstorm and pull out a piece of paper and journal and write about the things you desire and ask why. Because when you have a T-square, it's tense, it's dramatic, and the part of the T-square that's missing, we consider that to be the sign or the part that has the answer. So here we have 3 fixed signs. Scorpio is missing, and Scorpio is the sign of shadow work, death, rebirth, control of self in a highest vibration. So facing shadows, releasing your greed and passion that doesn't serve you could be very important around this time. So let's talk about 12 signs and see what Mars entering Leo could mean for you. If you are an Aries rising, Mars is about to go into your 5th house, which could inspire your creativity. It could urge you to go out there and date and just have fun and enjoy life, right? Kind of do whatever pleases you. Immediately, we have an opposition to Pluto in the 11th. So what pleases you, or what your romantic relationship wants to do, a romantic partner. 5th house also rules topics of children. So maybe what your child desires is at odds with what the community needs, or what your social reputation is, or social obligations are. So there might be this tension between your desires, the community, or what your dreams are. Perhaps your immediate kind of sacral needs are at odds with your goals, with your bigger goals, right? And it's also going to square Jupiter in the 2nd house. So there's also an element of financial questions could be tense around this time, or maybe you're having to address some kind of disagreement of values. So very, very easily, you know, some kind of big argument when it comes to how to approach things in a relationship, or how to spend money, and how to maybe deal with fun in your relationship, in your friendship, something like that. So be mindful of bad habits, be mindful of going all out. I think this could be your time where you see clearly which transgressions you have, or which habits you have in terms of pleasure and joy and fun that are outdated and need to be released. And make sure you're not spending too much money on partying. For Taurus risings, Mars is about to go in your 4th house. Mars in the 4th is independent and ambitious and competitive in terms of having a home, owning real estate, and maybe being in charge in the family. You can be more driven to spend time at home. You can be more driven to go see your family and connect with them. At the same time, there's an opposition to Pluto in the 10th house. So your desire for a safe haven, or sort of like happy family life, is at odds with your professional aspirations. Maybe is at odds with your bosses, and maybe there's inner tension between what you find comfortable, or what you're seeking, and your professional life, right? Like you're ready to start a family, you're ready to move in with your partner, but then work gets out of control and you miss the truck and you cannot move in. So there might be some drama. It's going to square Jupiter in the 1st house as well. So watch out for this feeling like you know everything, like you you deserve things, or, you know, like Jupiter in the 1st can be very much like stubborn and cocky at times, and sort of full of itself, himself, herself. So be careful there. Use the, you know, the square releases in your 7th house and relationship sector. So I wonder if maybe the best thing to do would be lean on people in your life and share your struggles with them and ask for support, and take it easy, right? Use this energy to do more DIY projects and improve your home, and focus on bettering your immediate environment versus blowing it up on fighting with bosses or colleagues. If you are a Gemini rising, Mars is about to go into your 3rd house. Mars in the 3rd is busy, lots of ideas, lots of emails, it's buzzing around, taking more trips, interacting with neighbors, interacting with colleagues, just like go, 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 go. It opposes Pluto in the 9th house, so some of your immediate environment, immediate obligations and schedule could be at odds with your plans to travel, with your education commitments and pursuits, with your writing projects, or ideological beliefs. Something you are committing. There might be a sense that you're just doing so much, but maybe it's taking you off track, right? And there's also a square to Jupiter in the 12th, and Jupiter in the 12th is urging you to pursue things that are more spiritual and consider your mental health and mental well-being. As this square releases into Scorpio, your 6th house, I would advise that you ground yourself and you look at your immediate environment and maybe even spring clean and take care of the mental clutter, because there could be a lot of kind of volume and noise in your head right now. Take care of it by going within, cleaning out stuff, right? Like tossing some things, eating well, taking care of yourself, be grounded, be present. Once this energy clears, after we pass the first week of, not the first week, basically from May 20th until May 27th is the more challenging period. Then Mars has more freedom to operate in Leo. You will be able, I think, to use your ideas. Once you do a little bit of like clarifying what is important, what is worth your time, what is not worth your time, then you'll be able to maximize this creative potential. I really like Mars in the 3rd house. I think it's very quick. I can't snap my fingers. I don't know how to do it. Can you snap your fingers? If you can, let me know. So yeah, like using this active mind for good is likely after May 27th. Be careful of fighting with people, still be careful of ideological debates, and watch out for driving too fast, because that could be the danger here. If you are a Cancer rising, Mars is about to go into your 2nd house, suggesting lots of opportunities to compete, make money, hustle, negotiate, maybe get recognition, become more visible. And it's not, it's not kind of easy immediately, because Mars in your 2nd house is going to oppose Pluto in the 8th. So it's your money versus debts you have, or your financial stability versus obligations and commitments and, like I said, debts, right? And it squares Jupiter in the 11th. So between May 20th and May 27th, a lot of tension between what you desire, what is right for you, what you would rather spend on, versus what your partner wants or what is best for your relationship, versus your dreams. So could be quite tense, could be quite hard to figure out which direction to take. Watch out for being too stuck up and too stubborn and too sure that you know exactly how to spend money, or you know exactly what to do, because it's a tough energy where there's a risk of like reckless action and overconfidence and doing things that will blow your happiness wide open, or that will you'll spend a lot of money on something that is not worth your time. The square releases in the 5th house, so ask yourself the question of what truly brings you joy. What is underneath it all? What are you truly trying to say, and what kind of makes you happy in life? And maybe think about all these disagreements from the perspective of that, because maybe you're fighting about money, but what truly makes you happy is cuddles with the person you love. So you can tell that to them and be like, maybe we disagree right now, but what I care about is this relationship, and let's try to figure it out. Just be humble, be high-minded. As soon as this energy clears after May 27th, you can expect to make more money, to spend more money, right? So it's like give and take, a bit complicated energy. You can definitely go through crises financially where you spend too much, but then you recover. So it could be like up and down. Make sure you're mindful about what you spend on, and still be on the lookout. Rethink maybe your finances, rethink what's important to you and how you handle financial matters. If you are a Leo rising, Mars is about to go in your first house. So here it's like Mars has been in Cancer for a while in your 12th house. So maybe you felt insecure. Maybe you've directed a lot of kind of frustration towards yourself. Maybe you've asked a lot of questions. Now Mars goes into the first house and you are more clear about what you desire. You're more ready to take action and seek the spotlight, be more visible, and you can also experience a surge of dramaticism in your life, dramatic reactions and responses. Mars will immediately, between May 20th and May 27th, oppose Pluto in your 7th house, making you address shadows in relationships, address power struggles, disagreements you and your partner have about the future. It will also square Jupiter at the top of your chart in the house of career. So it's very interesting because here you're looking at your dynamics with your romantic partner, your business partner, and you're wondering how do they impact your professional dreams, right? Like, are you being too complacent? Are you letting your partner make all decisions? Or are you being too independent, and maybe there is an element of needing to give something to them, you know, needing sort of to step aside and create better balance. So be mindful of all the challenges that show up right now in your professional or personal relationships, and look for ways to create better stability, because the square releases in Scorpio, your 4th house. So perhaps there's a need to even examine your childhood. Go back to the beginning, examine your childhood, examine the relationship between your parents and how that may have impacted your relationship to conflict or your romantic life. And then, you know, after the 27th, you're likely to experience more of a boost in terms of starting new things, in terms of pursuing personal goals. It's a great time to start a workout routine, to show up, to be more visible, to take on new kind of physical, challenging, muscle building activities. Be careful of rushing places because you can be more accident prone during this time until July 10th. If you are a Virgo rising, Mars is about to go in your 12th house. Mars in the 12th can be good for fighting kind of shadow parts of yourself, right? Like Mars in the 12th is spiritual, so it's really great for helping people who are misfortunate, people who are isolated, people who are going through mental health troubles. It's also good for addressing those things within yourself. The shadow side of Mars in the 12th house could be conflict avoidance and self-doubt and directing all of the challenging energy backwards at yourself and fighting yourself. If you have Mars in the 12th house natally, let me know. I'm one of those people, so I know a lot about fighting oneself. And having my Mars in Virgo is not helping at all. So be aware of this more shadow side of Mars in the 12th house. Immediately between May 20th and May 27th, Mars will be opposing Pluto in your 6th house and squaring Jupiter in the 9th. So this feels very kind of ideologically heavy. Perhaps there's a need to examine your beliefs, examine your ideas with Jupiter in the 9th house. Jupiter in the 9th wants to expand. It wants to travel. It wants to study. Wants to do all these new things, right? Pluto in the 6th says that there are still matters that you are taking care of. Could be work, could be a child that needs your attention, could be a pet that is, you know, struggling somehow. So needing to find a good flow and a better balance between all the things that you're trying to handle, right? And Mars in the 12th would really want to do something that is giving you recognition, but also something that serves others. So I think, yeah, like making sure you're finding a good balance between all of the directions you're trying to go in. And the square releases in Scorpio, which is your 3rd house. So I wonder if the answer here is being better at communicating, expressing yourself honestly, and asking for help if you need help, right? Could also be, maybe it's time to write. Maybe it's time to put your thoughts on a page and share your story with the world. That could be it. And yeah, like pay attention to pay attention to Mars in the 12th house until July 10th, and know that it could be a great way of using this Mars is doing yoga, meditation, kind of taking it slow, and do not fight with yourself. Know that you may have that tendency, but it's not healthy. Your sleep can be a bit more up and down around this time, so definitely do spiritual, physical activities that can help center you. If you are a Libra rising, Mars is entering your 11th house. So this is all about social status. You are driven to lead. You want to be in charge, right? Mars in the 11th house is very much like you are the king of your friends. You're the king of your projects. And here you really need to be careful that you're not being too competitive, that you're not forgetting about the good of all. And this is, I think, what this first week of this transit between May 20th and May 27th can be about, as Mars in your 11th house of dreams opposes Pluto in the 5th house of romance, creativity, joy, and children. So somehow your goals can be at odds with what's good for you, or what's good for your relationship, what's good for your children. So be careful here. And it's also squaring Jupiter in the 8th. So I wonder if you're literally like about to get a loan for your business while you also have some other kind of loan that you're paying off. So maybe it's like not the time to make reckless financial decisions. And conflicts with friends are possible. Disagreements about creative value of things, disagreements with your partner about the future are also possible. Disagreements about money are possible. The square releases into Scorpio, into your 2nd house. So I think like being careful, being grounded, but also being ready to see the different side of things. When you have Scorpio as the 2nd house, you're someone who goes through multiple transformations when it comes to your finances and resources. So do not be afraid to change your mind. Do not be afraid to see the other person's side of the story, or at the very least, do not rush to attack or defend. Just kind of take it easy and listen to what the other person has to say. After this tense energy clears on May 27th, 28th, you are likely to have more drive to be visible, to put yourself in front of other people, to brainstorm new ideas, to show up on social media, volunteer, and sort of interact with other people in a way that helps them, helps you, encourages symbiosis. If you are a Scorpio rising, Mars is about to go in your 10th house. Mars in the 10th is all about professional action. Maybe you're starting a business, maybe you're approaching a new project, you have the energy, you have the charm, you have the know-how and the courage to do it, to go for it. Immediately between May 20th and May 27th, Mars will oppose Pluto in the 4th house and will square Jupiter in the 7th. So your professional desires and your search for spotlight get pinned against your family, your home and living situation, whatever is going on in your living situation. Like I'm filming this video with construction guys playing music right in my hallway, and my apartment is this big, so the hallway feels like they're inside. But enough about my pain, let's talk about yours. Yeah, let me know how you think this can show up in your life. But I think it's like, you know, your goals versus what your comfort is, versus what your family wants for you, versus what kind of makes you secure. So you may sort of have to address your own fears of success or fears of failure. And it also squares Jupiter in the 7th, so perhaps some of your goals are calling you to rethink your romantic or business partnerships, to rethink your approach to relationships. So it's all very kind of significant because you have all the angular houses activated except for the first one. And that's where the square releases. It kind of points us towards Scorpio first house, I think, suggesting that you need to examine yourself as you have done a lot. So I'm sorry if I'm repeating what everyone else was telling you with all of the eclipses. You've gone through a lot, I know. But yeah, like, you know, looking at your own resistance, looking at your own fears, and like, maybe if there's a lot of clutter around what family says, what partner says, what work demands, try to take a step back and focus on yourself and ask, what do you want? What actually grounds you and makes you happy? And once the energy clears after May 27th, approximately until July 10th, you will have more energy and more ability to make strides in your career, to achieve, to get recognized, and hustle, right? To be kind of in charge. If you are a Sagittarius rising, Mars is about to go in your 9th house, inspiring you to study, to travel, to expand your life through pursuing new hobbies, new interests, and learning something. Here, the danger, especially with Mars opposing Pluto in the 3rd house and squaring Jupiter in the 6th house between May 20th and May 27th, the danger is feeling like you know. Whatever it might be, right? There might be tensions and conflicts with neighbors, tensions and conflicts with siblings, family members, colleagues, potentially. Mars in the 9th could have this very much, I know my views are fixed, right? Because your 9th house is very fixed. So opposition to Pluto in the 3rd, kind of having very dramatic interactions with family members, having explosive ideological debates, disagreements about something significant. The square to Jupiter in the 6th might affect your work life. Maybe it's a conflict with a colleague you're having, a big disagreement that is making you question a lot of things. And the square, it's a T-square between 3 fixed signs. It releases, meaning the part that's missing is Scorpio. Scorpio is your 12th house. And 12th house deals with losses. It deals with letting something go. So the answer to this first week of this transit, May 20th until May 27th, could be losing. It doesn't have to be a major thing that you are losing, but losing in terms of releasing some of your ideas, some of your notions that are not serving you. Rethinking your ideology, right? In terms of maybe you're trying to create a better balance and a better sense of comfort within yourself, or a better work-life balance. After this challenging energy clears, you will be able to enjoy more learning, enjoy more travel, kind of be able to explore, but like be on the lookout of this like strong opinions. Because if we know anything as we keep getting older, myself, I should just say, if I know anything as I keep getting older, is that I don't know anything. Who was the philosopher who said it? Maybe Socrates. Maybe he said it, I know that I know nothing. If you know who said it, let me know down there. But yeah, like beware of being too stubborn, to kind of sure that you have the knowledge, because maybe you don't. And the rest of Mars in Leo transit from May 27th until July 10th could be very much about expanding your mind, exploring new things, questioning your beliefs and your knowledge. If you are a Capricorn rising, Mars is about to go into your 8th house. Mars in the 8th is very driven to pay off debts, to take action, to work with other people, to reach out, to collaborate, transform any of the, shadows, the darkness. It's all about like working with other people. Immediately between May 20th and May 27th, Mars will oppose Pluto in the 2nd house and square Jupiter in the 5th. So here you're looking, Mars in the 8th could also be very much about getting in debt or taking a loan. and somehow your desire to work with other people, or somehow your maybe even partnership that you're starting, somehow it could be at odds with your finances. Maybe you're making a really big investment that's going to negatively affect you later on, or it could be at odds with your joy, right? Jupiter in the 5th house really wants to take it easy, enjoy life, create, date, have fun. So some kind of financial disagreement, some kind of financial decision that's maybe not good for you. I would encourage that you proceed slowly and spend more time negotiating, spend more time figuring everything out. Do not rush to make decisions, especially, you know, financial decisions. And then after May 27th, when this energy clears up a little bit, until July 10th, Mars will be traveling through your 8th house, and you will have more freedom. Maybe you figure out these financial matters and you ask some of the important questions. Look at your kind of overall dreams and how this decision will affect your dreams, or how it will affect your role in the world. And do not rush to make decisions, because you're balancing a lot of different things. You're balancing your money and values with other people's monies and values, with other people's money and values, and your own sense of like creativity, play, and pleasure. So there is a lot to figure out. If you are an Aqua rising, Mars is about to go into your 7th house. Mars in the 7th house is very active in terms of partnering up. So between May 20th and May 20th and July 10th, you're likely to be out there. You're driven to partner up, you're driven to commit. So you may be going on more dates, maybe you are going on more like networking events, right? Or scheduling more active dates potentially. There's also a danger of fighting with your partner more if you're not expressing this energy through healthier means. The most challenging period is between May 20th and May 27th, when you have Mars in the 7th house opposing Pluto in the 1st, squaring Jupiter in the 4th. To me, this reads as romantic drama connected to personal fears, shadows, wounds that are connected to childhood or living situation or family. Because Jupiter in the 4th house is definitely pointing us to like home, family, living situation, perhaps the things that you are working through or desiring with Jupiter in the 4th house. It can definitely be that like childhood wounds coming up and affecting relationships, or it can also be a disagreement with your partner about what you want to do with your home. So with Jupiter in the 4th house, maybe you are ready to move. Maybe you found a home that you want to buy, but your partner disagrees, and Pluto in the 1st house will make you examine your own rigidity, your own fears, your own kind of shadows that maybe you haven't addressed yet. Pay attention to what comes up, because Pluto is about to go into Aquarius next year permanently. Not permanently, nothing is permanent in this life, but for 20 years, which feels quite permanent, right? In the grand scheme of things, in the scheme of our lives, in the scheme of some dogs' lives, they will be born in their entire life. Pluto will be in Aquarius. So look at what comes up, look at the shadows, the conflicts you have in your relationships, and see those as opportunities for growth and opportunities for healing. If you are a Pisces rising, Mars is about to go into your 6th house, which is actually quite exciting because Mars is in its joy in the 6th house. 6th house is the place of hurdles and work and exercise and labor that demands sweat and tears and energy. Mars is active, Mars is happy to handle a lot of things, right? So with Mars being here, you're likely taking care of your health, you are seeing more doctors, maybe you're, giving birth. As one Pisces rising I know is about to soon, not sure when, maybe not during Mars and Leo, But yeah, maybe you're handling some kind of health matter and dealing with that, or dealing with work. There's just like a busier schedule, a lot more things to do. Between May 20th and May 27th, Mars will be opposing Pluto in your 12th house and squaring Jupiter in the 3rd. So here it's interesting because like Jupiter in the 3rd wants to grow, it wants to change the schedule, it wants to open your mind, to think differently, to do things differently, to study, to teach, to inspire. But it's almost like there's all this tension between Mars in the 6th and all the things you have on your plate, and Pluto in the 12th, and your own self-defeating tendencies, your own fears, your own kind of blind spot things that you're not looking at. So it could be tough. It could be like a lot more internal than maybe for some of the other rising signs, where you are kind of examining what's standing in your way and how you can organize your busy life better, what needs to be released, especially, right? Like use this Mars in Leo energy, especially once the square, the 10th T-square clears, to get more organized, to get going, to get rid of a bunch of things, get rid of clutter in your head, especially because Jupiter is in the 3rd house, wants to help, wants to uplift, wants to make you more optimistic. So what needs to go, right? Like what needs to go physically in terms of maybe your space is surrounded with boxes that you need to get rid of. And what needs to go mentally. Because the T-square releases into Scorpio, your 9th house, and 9th house is all about your beliefs, your philosophies, and your ideals. So use Mars in the 6th house energy wisely, be productive, take care of your health, get organized, and let me know how it goes in the comments below. So we've taken a look at Mars in Leo. It's a bit unique this time around, right? Because of all the fixed energy. We haven't had Pluto in Aquarius. I mean, Pluto last time was in Aquarius during French Revolution, so that would have been Industrial Revolution. That would have been before we were all alive. And, to have it squaring Jupiter and Taurus is also quite rare. So take it easy. Be mindful. Watch out for being too stubborn and acting like you know everything and have all the answers. And I'll talk to you soon. Bye.